Many people have told me that there are people, they're data scientists, they're data engineers, they're data analysts, financial analysts. A lot of people have told me that they initially thought, why is he, some people came with some background like in SQL or PLSQL, and said, why is he teaching basic stuff in the beginning, and should we even attend? We If we don't attend, even then we can cover it up. And within 4 classes, when he was teaching joins particularly, they realized, oh my God, that every step that he takes, every word that he utters, you will not even find on Chat GPT. Even if you do Gemini or Chat GPT, the way he explains, it builds up a particular. There's a method of teaching we basically follows. So when you're doing the complex topics later on, you understand. Oh my God, your concepts have been cleared because of his cricket examples, Bollywood examples, surrogacy examples. Sometimes I enjoy when he's teaching. I'm there sometimes and I enjoy his examples. But you very soon realize that there's so much that we need to practice and we are not aware of. Yeah, so you rightly pointed that out, Hema.
That is what
Very
we
true.
try to help everybody in the class so that people will help the exam, help the topic with example. They do not go with the memorization the topic, because when you memorize, you cannot answer at the time of interview. Interviewer is just like me and you. That is what my thinking, Arun sir. What I thought that we have to means make an impression in front of interviewer that he can think, okay, this person can work with me. Simple thing. So that is what our more impression when we working and when we give interviews. Interviews all about a you have to impress somebody. Very simple. That person should impress with your wordings, impress with your examples, and they have a mindset. Yes, he has some idea. That is the only thing about the whole concept of database sessions.
Got it. So now that many people have gathered and Akriti will keep on admitting other people, I'll go ahead and get started formally. So welcome everyone. Uh, how's everybody doing? Make some noise to show that you're alive. Nobody's alive? Oh, I can see some emojis. Good, good, good. Yeah, you can show some emojis if you're on mute. You can show some emojis, make some noise, say, yay, we are here. Vishal, what happened to your students? Everybody is so quiet, silent.
They are not all my students, but yes, many of them are there. So I'm just expecting people should
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, no,
I
no, but I'm
if you
seeing a
if you
lot
if
of
you tell this in advance, maybe then I can forward in all my groups. But yeah, I forwarded just now. Let's see how many
no,
people are joining. But yeah, it's good.
no, no, that's okay. At least I can see a lot of emojis going on, so I understand that people are aware. Okay, so we have gathered here today, guys, to celebrate the success of Vishal's student, who's Chandan Sharma. Chandan will talk a little bit about himself, and we will learn a lot of insights. Usually, we call these sessions experience sharing sessions. So, in these sessions, we discuss like what was his background, what kind of things helped him prepare for the interview, certain tips. We learn about some tips on and off. So we don't have a planned session. It's not like an interview. We get a chance as friends in a group. We get a chance to uh, share a success story, learn certain things from him, some tips, techniques. Maybe he's going to talk about some areas in Oracle where most questions came from. Maybe he'll share some tips, some questions that come. So we have a free flow kind of a session. There's no planning behind it. There's no method to it. We'll just and once I have asked him some basic questions, uh, you guys can you guys can join in the conversation, and each one of you will have an opportunity if you want to ask him questions. Now, please note that in our experience sharing sessions, we do not talk about salaries. Okay, so please refrain from asking about salaries. Please refrain from also asking about, because whenever a candidate joins a place, they sign some of the non-disclosure agreements or clauses. So we want to make sure that our guest, our COE member, our Vishal's team member, if he's we should not make him feel uncomfortable by asking questions about any company specifics, right? All that I can share with you is he has had an exciting journey where he changed from a Salesforce guy into a data migration consultant. So, are we ready to begin now, guys? I need to see some emojis again. All right, I can see couple. I can see many now. All right. So, Chandan, welcome. Can you hear me, Chandan?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Arun sir. I hope I'm audible properly to everyone.
Oh, absolutely yes. You're very audible. Um, so Chandan, a few days back we heard about your great success, and I thought we'll allow you some time to settle down to take all that pleasure in, the happiness in, and once we get a chance, we'll say hello to you and ask you a few questions and uh, gather some insights from you. So, having said that, can you share with the audience a little bit about yourself? All that I'm aware is you are an engineer from Vellore. So, talk to us about yourself a little bit.
Sure, sir. Hi, everyone. A very good morning and good evening. I hope everyone is doing well and good. I have graduated from VIT Vellore in 2021, and from there I got the opportunity to work with Wipro. And after certain initial trainings, I got into Salesforce, and from there since it's starting as well, I was interested into data domain, but didn't get a chance to transit in data domain per se, data analyst or data engineering. um, After few years I found out Vishal sir's course and I enrolled for it, and luckily I got into or got an opportunity to transit into a data consultant. uh, yes sir, this was the initial.
No, yeah, great. So, so you moved from some city to another city, and I think when you talked to me in the morning, I was very surprised you're in all the way. You moved from a particular city to Hyderabad, where you're working currently, right?
Yes sir.
Wow. So, I'm not going to ask you an oracle question. Let me ask you a fun question. So, uh, what do you like most about Hyderabad?
Uh, the people there,
Mhm.
first I would say, and the environment, atmosphere, the nature overall. I like the weather a lot, and
Wow. Have
there's
you been have you
yes,
been to Tangbund yet and seen the Birla Temple?
yes, sir, I've been there. It's
I have
it's
spent I've
surreal and beautiful.
got you. I've also spent some time there, and I had great fun there. And you are right in pointing out that the people are very helpful there, very nice. Um, so you must have given. So let's talk about you. You mentioned about Vishal a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about that particular milestone where you decided to do a course, and I believe you are still continuing, but he gave you an early preview into the course and how it's going to work. So tell us a little bit about this course and how did it help your to further your education of SQL.
Sure, sir. So
Did you
I
find
was.
it easy? Did you find it difficult?
Mhm.
Things like that.
Sure, sure. So I will start with the initial, like how I found out about the courses. So
Mhm.
I had a good reach in the LinkedIn. So from there, I found some of the people sharing Vishal sir's post. As I was working as a Salesforce developer, uh,
Right.
though I was working in few of the SQL part in there as well, but not in depth, or mostly it was related to Java stuff, I would say, the coding part. From there, I thought to transition to data side after connecting with few of the colleagues who were there with or maybe attended few of the session of Vishal sir or the content Vishal sir was sharing in his LinkedIn account. like in detail post or whatever the comment he was uh, putting to other people's post in detail. So I was very much moved about that. Like in simple words, he was sharing the great insights. So I was excited and I was curious to know like who this particular person is. Then I connected with him, and after that, I got a chance to join through the WhatsApp link, and from there the entire journey started. uh, per se about the entire course, I would say it was easy. It was uh, very much realistic, and Vishal sir is very kind and helpful, I would say. He's always ready to answer each and every question. According to him, there is nothing like any silly or stupid question. If you have any silly doubts, after college days, uh, I wasn't able to had a good grip on the SQL part, like in some of the normalization, I would say the topic
Mhm.
or joins, window functions. These were the parts which I learned during the college days. After that, I didn't utilize them much. But
Gotcha.
after enrolling to Vishal's class, it was easy peasy for me.
Wow. Yeah, he makes it easy with. I've heard. I've myself been there. Like I was just telling you, where he has some fun jokes. Some. He also scolds people at times because when it is necessary. So he does a combination of things like cricket examples, Bollywood examples, and all kind of great examples to drive a point home, and that is his asset, I think. Plus, I think in my opinion, as a if I consider myself as a as a third person, I would say that you know the the questions that he posts on a daily basis, on whether it is on LinkedIn, on all the different groups that we have, it's a very strong point because we get uh, real kind of questions, industry grade questions and that's very very helpful to all the students. Many people have pointed it out to me. So thank you for saying that. So, so now let's talk a little bit about the interview for which most of the people are here to hear about that. So, at some point, you decide to transition and start taking the interviews. So, uh, did you apply to multiple places? Did you apply to just couple places? How do you go about that?
Sure, sir. So I started applying via LinkedIn first,
Mhm.
and also via few referrals. I used to send out messages to the people who was working in a certain companies or have opening in their companies with a proper message template, I would say, which should looks like it should look like a professional who is asking for a referral. So that's first or the important part, I would say, to reach out to people. And I also created Naukri profile, but I didn't get much response via Naukri at the initial days because of the 90 days notice period, I would say. But I got a referral from my one of the colleagues, and from there I got an interview call for the data consultant role.
Interesting. So you are saying in another way that if you put like 90 days, initially it doesn't excite the recruiters, but then LinkedIn, because there are 1 billion people on it, somebody or the other notices it and you start getting traction on your LinkedIn profile. That's good to hear. Um, so um, how do you uh, how do you prepare for this interviews that you gave? Because I believe you were giving interviews as SQL, Oracle SQL developer, data migration consultant, and multiple other titles, perhaps. So how do you go about preparing for it?
Sure, sir. So in starting, I thought, or I would honestly say that I was overconfident on certain things. I thought that I have gone through the recordings of the session Vishal sir had provided, but I was overconfident about handling the question. I thought that I would be able to crack the questions, but I I wasn't able to adhere whatever he said. Like practicing makes a man perfect. So I couldn't able to stick to it initially, but after that, after one or two interview, I got the reality check, I would say. And after that,
Mhm.
I started practicing more and more question, whatever being shared by Vishal sir or any of the colleagues within the particular group we have. And also, I started looking for different scenario based question in SQL or the basic questions, because in one or two interview I messed up entirely the interview basic join questions, I would say. And I was cursing myself that this silly mistake shouldn't be done. But yeah, from there I got the learnings.
It's really interesting you say that, Chandan, because the similar examples many other students have given me, uh, whether it is, they are not necessarily all Vishal students, but in general, like the feedback has been that, people prepare very less on the basic questions. So, in case of Vishal, I think and please remind me if I'm correct, because I'm not, I don't know the things in depth. But he says that chapter 1 through chapter 10th, or the 10th class, covers 30% or 20%, is it? Vishal, are you here? You say that, uh, a majority of the questions, 30% questions come from from your classes 1 through 10, right?
Oh, from basic
Uh,
concepts, 1 to 7 class.
Gotcha. So yeah, so we've had people who've told us that, they were all prepared, and suddenly they were all prepared for high level questions on performance tuning, but then they were asked questions: what is an Oracle trigger and how does it work? And they were not able to answer. I mean, they knew that they had covered it in the class, but they hadn't practiced enough, or hadn't gone through the recordings. Some of them were either missing classes, or maybe they didn't pay attention to it. So as a result, they couldn't answer that simple question, and then it, just like Chandan, it dawned upon them, oh my god, we should not only revise the basic questions, but we should um, focus on what Vishal was saying in the classes. Because he always mentions, sometimes he gets excited and says, hey, all of you guys must focus on this question, jarur aega, that the question will
Yeah.
come definitely. I remember the Hindi words, especially because he says, "ये question को note कर लो, ये जरूर आएगा," and then more often than not, he's correct about that. So, yeah, Chandan, your feedback matches pretty much what others have been experiencing as well. Um, Chandan, let's move forward and talk a little bit about your actual interview. So, in your interview where you got successful, did you realize how many rounds of interview did they have, and what kind of, like, did they have a technical round first followed by a director round, or what other rounds?
Sure, sir. So first, after the referral, I got a call from the HR, and he took the basic idea about what experience I have. Even also asked about few of the any experience in the cloud, and how much I would rate myself in SQL or something, or some basic question I would say based on SQL. He asked. Followed by that, he scheduled the meeting on the other day. First, so overall there were four rounds, two technical, one hiring manager, and one HR round were there. So first two technical questions were in depth on SQL, I would say. They started after each and every question, they started increasing the level of the questions. So I would say in the first technical question, he started with basic question about SQL, like the difference between where and having, how many kinds of join you have, and other things. And after that, he started asking some complex questions, like I would say related to window functions, like how write a query uh, such that a particular employee has more salary than the average salary of an entire department, something like
Hmm.
that. So
Gotcha.
these were, yeah, this was the technical question, part one.
Okay, so this was the part one of the interview, and what topics or what areas? We don't necessarily want the actual questions. We are just looking at the range of the type of questions asked in the HR round or the next round.
Yeah, so in the second technical interview as well, whatever the experience I have in a or whatever project I built, based on that he started asking the questions more on coalesce, I would say, like how you utilize in real time scenarios and uh, if condition, I would say, or when in case based questions. Uh, he gave some certain conditions and how would you get certain output based on this for the technical too. And the hiring manager, he was more interested in knowing me, I would say. Uh, and he wanted to know what I understood about data governance or data migration thing, how I've been using SQL in day to day life.
Got
So
you.
these were the
Got you.
questions
So
basically.
basically, he's trying to size up your personality per se, not just the technical questions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Uh, so, guys, I want to take a pause at this moment and see anybody in the audience. Please feel free to ask a question that you have because, like I said, this is more like a discussion where I'm learning something, you guys learning something, and Chandan is sharing with us some inputs that he has. And of course, I'm not sure if Vishal is still here, but he can join in and help a little bit too. So, who wants to go with the first question? Guys, you can unmute and ask the question. Don't. Uh, uh, it's okay if you unmute yourself and ask the question directly.
Yeah, hi Chandan, Amit here.
Yeah. Hi, Amit.
Yeah, hi. Chandan, so for the data migration profile, as a data migration specialist profile, what skills they required, and in the current project, what skills need to be, if we want to become a data migration specialist, what skills required for that, and what they have asked relevant those questions, means not approx question, exact question, but relevant to topics. Could you please let us know?
Sure. So first thing, you should be well versed with the SQL, even from basic to advanced level of questions. That's the first parameter they usually evaluate the particular interview, and followed by your knowledge on cloud. I would say it could be anything, Google Cloud Platform, AWS, or Azure, because they want a certain idea that you should have and how the data flow happens in ETL. So that's a basic, and they will ask within that they will ask certain questions, scenario based question as well, uh, or how this schema evaluation happens. So certain things, or basic understanding they will ask, followed by the data governance, because nowadays I think data governance is going to is playing or going to play a crucial role as well. So you should have a basic understanding on that.
Okay. Any the primary skill required for data migration is part of SQL is the ETL tool.
Yeah, ETL tool and knowledge on cloud services, any of the cloud services.
So in the
Uh,
current company, what is your actually overall experience you have?
I have 4 years right now, overall 4 years of experience.
Okay, okay. So overall, you have shown your experience on that data side when you have approached to the new company, correct?
yes,
Yeah.
Amit, he's basically I've seen his resume and he's basically had different hats. So he has given a blend of like his Oracle experience, his degree, and a range of experiences that he's had. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Who else wants to go next?
Hi, sir. This is Naveen.
Yes, Naveen.
Sir, my question is to you. Just I wanted to know how better we can answer the question. For example, a guy who is just normally having a 2 years experience who writes only select, delete, update, and some other maintains the procedures. So, if I attend an interview, if interviewer and I ask what value you have added in your previous company? What can I answer for this? The guy who works in
Vishal,
support role.
Vishal, are you here? Vishal, I don't know what happened. Did he lose? Did we lose
Yes,
him?
yes, sir, sir, I'm here. Sorry.
So Vishal, did you hear the question?
Repeat again one more time. Sorry.
Yeah, can you do that one more time, please?
Ji sir, I Vishal sir. I'm just a student of Vishal sir only, batch
Oh, hi,
28.
Naveen. Oh, hi, Naveen.
Sir,
By
what I was asking is,
by the way, I'm not ignoring your question. I'll make sure that I I have a session on I have a session coming up on mock interviews, and I'll be helping you on how to answer. But I want to hear Vishal how would have Vishal answered this question?
for example, a guy is having, for example, I'm having a 1.5 year experience who writes only select, delete, and edit and update and maintain some store procedures. So, if I
Mm-hmm.
attend an interview, if an interviewer asks what value you have added in your previous company, what are things you have done automated in previous company?
Okay, so first of all, as you said that you are working and make 1.5 year experience and working on procedures and functions, and basically you are working support project, right?
Yes, not even function also, just maintaining procedures,
Proceed.
maintaining
Okay, so
PLSQL
what
and just
value you
writing
are
edit
added
update.
as a support project? I mean, what is happening that some code is running, it gives error, or it has to successful. You have to do the logging, check the successful criteria, and find out the code is running properly. If any issue comes, then your responsibility as a support project that you have to fix that issue and rerun the job again or rerun the procedure again. Correct? So what
Yes,
value
yes,
you
yes.
added it, you can explain to the interviewer that in my previous project, what is happening that many of the jobs are coming, the data is coming, we have a procedure which is running. Sometimes it gives me error and we have to solve that error. It will take time because of not proper exception handling. So I have implemented exception handling in my all the procedures. My previous developers are pretty good, but sometimes because of a lot of work pressure, maybe they missed proper exception handling everywhere. I did exception handling so that when the errors are coming, it's easy to catch. Other than that, I also implemented dbms underscore utility dot format error backtrace that give me the exact line number, which helped me to find out and debug the issue more faster. So that is what I implemented in my project. Me, I will go with my POC to my my manager. He approved me, and it took around 1 and 2 months to implement all these things into my all the procedures. Now today even the errors are coming as it is, but now we are able to solve it at least 70% more faster. That work which is going to at least 1 hour, now it is reduced to 5 to 6 minutes. We easily know what is the error, from where it is coming, what exact the issue is, because of the proper exception handling. That is what I implemented in my project, and that is very much appreciated by the client and my manager
Excellent,
both.
excellent, Vishal. So all this that Vishal said also can be defined in terms of Vishal touched upon 4 or 5 different kind of metrics. So I would encourage you to work with me offline on this so that we can look at what you have done and translate it into metrics that'll be valuable. But how Vishal spoke, if I was the hiring manager, I'd be so happy that he quickly came up with examples of how he added value, and I would have only asked him salary kitna loge bhai, just like Three Idiots, right? So we'll continue to discuss these kinds of questions elsewhere. Today, the celebration is for Chandan, and we will gather some more insights from him. Uh,
Thank you,
so,
sir.
uh, so Vivek or Yugal or Sailesh or Sahista, Megha, Harsh, Chandrasekhar. I want to, the reason we invite guests and people from within you is because we can ask questions, we can learn some insights. So instead of me asking all the questions, I would love for you to step up and ask, unmute yourself and ask the question one by one.
Hi Archana, this is Harsh here. So I wanted to ask one question to Chandan. You mentioned that you were working initially in Salesforce with the tech skill set of Java and SQL majorly. So what kind of story did you portray to the hirers or on your resume to win or to get interviews in data roles?
So yeah, sure, sure. Harsh. Uh, I was working in Salesforce, so there were different skills as well. But for the transition, I was working side by side, and I was
Mhm.
upskilling myself. I was learning the entire tech stack related to Azure Cloud, more on ADF or Azure Databricks. I enrolled for community edition or whatever was being available in the internet, and I was started building my own projects side by side, and I started learning in depth on how would utilize the SQL as well.
And
So
I love this part about you, Chandan, that while you were practicing your SQL, sharpening your skills in SQL, just like Vishal says in every class, everybody must try to, once they've finished SQL, and even if you take up a particular job, everybody should try to learn about cloud. So Azure is one of the important things, and if you OS is another one, GCP is there, but Azure and OS cloud, if you're aware of, or if you know other databases, like not databases, but if you know how to work with Snowflake or how to work with Databricks, that should be typically your next level of upskilling. You may have seen how Vishal has organized many seminars on Snowflake, and we have done, COE has done many seminars on Databricks. So those will be the things that, and we have also have Azure Cloud Computing, where we teach about 30, 40 services of Azure, which takes you from being a developer to an admin to an architect role. So those are the kind of things that one should keep in mind as the next steps, because these skills come in very handy. Uh, any kind of cloud skills comes in handy. So, all right.
Understood.
So
Yeah, thanks for answering that, Chandan and Arun sir. Understood that, and thank you for pointing out the upskilling part of it and your journey on upskilling. My question also wanted to, I also wanted to understand about sometimes interviewers or companies get hesitant to take you in because you do not have that relevant experience. So, how do you answer that part of it? Or sometimes you even face difficulty getting interviews, irrespective of you highlighting your skill set. How do you portray it when it comes to their expectation of asking for a particular experience in project or working in that domain?
Sure, that's a nice question. I would say most of the employers, they usually focuses on whatever their requirements are. So I faced many rejection based on that. After, even after clearing two interviews round, the hiring manager, or they have their own requirements, so they insist on taking up the people with a certain skill set. So you can't do anything about that. It's just that you have to prepare uh, well versed with your project, whatever you put in resume, and whatever, if you have, you can get a basic understanding whatever they put in their job description. So if you can give or say that I have a theoretical knowledge of a certain topic, I don't have a practical knowledge on that, then some hiring manager, they might consider it, but it's all over like what they want.
yeah, in
That's
certain cases, you can showcase your transferable skills. Let's say you worked in retail domain, but those skills are transferable to the banking domain, finance domain, other domains. So, I mean, one should try to learn about, and that's why other domains. While you're doing SQL, most of the people learn about uh, stuff and they practice it, but very few people try to build a portfolio for themselves. So it's a great idea to take couple different domains and try to build a showcase portfolio. It's not a compulsory thing in places, but especially for the people who have lesser experience, it's a great idea to prepare a portfolio so that you can showcase your work and transferable skills. So sometimes I have seen people where they never worked in retail or banking domains, but they had showcased a simple thing in SQL. It's an end-to-end project. It is a simple project. It did not consume a lot of hours. It was probably done in 3 to 4 hours, but that helped a person a lot in many cases. Okay.
Got it.
and
Thank you for
and
answering.
and we can separately talk about this. I can show you uh, uh, in the global career services group. I can post, like, the portfolio of couple different people and how it helped them. And I'd be very happy to, once your education is about to finish, we can have couple sessions on different domains and how we utilizing that. And this is precisely the part where, people become successful, and they start, like, if we leave Chandan for a month, he'd be gone, he'd be busy, and he may not get the time. So we decide to catch people early on. So when they have the time, take, like, half an hour, 40 minutes of their time, so that we all learn from each other's experiences. Okay, who's next? Come on,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thanks
We
for answering that.
we we, we don't have a lot of time, guys. I want to keep coming with questions so that we have Chandan for next 10 minutes probably, and I also have on the meeting. So let's just keep on going with questions. Let me ask one. So Chandan, is there any? So let's say they ask, like, let's say 5 to 10 questions. Where the where was there anything that you was there a particular question that you enjoyed the most, or maybe
Uh,
there's in some cases we also have a question. Let's say, whenever I go for interview, I've heard people go for interviews, there's always one question that's a curveball. So was there some curveball kind of a question also?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the technical round two, the interviewer asked me a very interesting question. I was able to explain the entire logic to him, but I wasn't able to converse it to SQL. But he liked my approach. So there was a question related to where were two tables were there. So the basic question was related to, like, how would you get the records of a customer where the suppose there is a column name as trade allowed, which earlier was as yes, and now it is as no for a customer ID. Okay, so he want me to find out the latest record which has the trade allowed as no. So that was the question he asked me, and it was a very interesting or logical question, I would say, which he
Gotcha.
asked.
Yeah, sometimes isn't it interesting that sometimes we may not have the perfect answer, but I liked what you said. That is, if you are able to explain your logic or your approach, sometimes that is very much appreciated by the recruiters or the hiring managers, because you know is the approach that counts a lot.
Yes, I agree. It was the most of the case in like whatever the interviews I have given.
So was this the question that you enjoyed the most also, or was there some other areas where you felt, "Arey wow, this I had." There are some. When I was doing my 10th or 12th standard, long back, you know, and if there was a question I'd just done in the morning, and when I looked at my question paper and I see the question as the first question on the exam, I'm delighted. I'm like, "Arey, ye to ho gaya. I've done it. I've made it." So did you have that kind of thrilling experience as well?
Yeah, there was another question. It was related to how I would optimize the query optimization related question. So in my resume, I mentioned that I optimized the code by 50%. So the interviewer was moved by that a lot. So he asked me, like, what magic did you do, and such that you was able to reduce by 50%. So I
Got
entirely
it.
explained him the answer.
Yeah, what you said is very important because of two reasons. Reason one is some people write metrics which they can't defend. So they'll say something, I reduced XYZ by, or I reduced errors by 5%, 10%, but they're asked what kind of errors, and can you give some error codes in Oracle, or they're asked about something, a follow-up question, they're unable to answer. Now, in your case, what was different, I believe, is you wrote something and the interviewer caught on that thing, and you were able to defend and describe because you were well prepared. And I think that's what Vishal also emphasizes on. Especially, I remember he made an excellent video on performance tuning, which he may have shared in many groups. It was also put on LinkedIn where he talked about, you know, how you should be, if you're talking about performance tuning, you should be willing to explain it nonstop. At least 5 to 10 minutes, you should be able to talk about it, explain what you did on your project, and give examples. Just giving definitions, bookish definitions, does not help. So if you're having an analogy with which you can explain your point in your own language, that's fine. So I'm glad that you were able to defend so well, and I'm sure that's why you're selected, because the interviewers must have appreciated what you said. Got you. All right, Vivek, Naveen, Mohit, you've been silent. Vinod, Chandrasekhar, Chandkan, I would want to hear something from your end. In case you have a comment, it does not have to be a question. It can be a comment on. You can just say, "Hey, I'm happy at your success," or "Hey, I'm jealous of the success," whatever you want to say. But in these kind of sessions, what I want to encourage is, going forward, we'll have many such sessions, and I want to encourage people to speak up, to say something, so that you know when I've noticed that a lot of people, when they face actual interviews, they can speak a little bit of geek stuff, but when it comes to, hey, tell me something about yourself, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses, people become so silent, uh, and that awkwardness is immediately caught by the recruiter or the hiring manager. And sometimes you can be a great person on paper, you are good at your SQL stuff, but then you get dismissed or sidelined because of those extra things that are not there. So when you practice your mock sessions, when you practice talking to people, being a little social, that also helps. Chandan, do you agree with that?
Yes, sir. I totally agree with whatever you said.
Okay. So guys,
Eh,
we'll
eh,
spend five. Yeah, go ahead. Ask a question, please.
Chandan, this Shailesh here. Just trying to understand what made you move out from Salesforce to a a SQL PL SQL developer.
So yeah, Salish, I'm not enrolling for the PLS SQL developer, but my main focus is on data engineering or consultant side. Uh,
Hmm.
I was very much interested from the day one after my graduation as well. I did some of the internship, but this situation wasn't favorable to me at that time. So when I got the chance, I got the experience. So after that, I took my chance and to make the transition.
So let's just say, Shailesh, that he has a short term plan for next couple of years, and he has a long term plan, and it's a part of a big journey. So being a data migration consultant, being an Oracle database developer, being a Salesforce, these are all let's just say there are small stops in his journey towards something bigger, as a because he would wherever he goes, he will try to utilize the skills of a data engineer slash a data architect consultant. So he'll be playing multiple roles, and we have discussed it in depth of the great plans that he has in future.
Just trying to understand on Salesforce, were you more on the functional side or you were more on the technical side, Chandan?
I was a proper developer, full stack developer, I would say, or the backend developer. I was handling the requirements from the client on a weekly basis, or I would say sprint basis. I was a proper developer, I would say.
Okay.
Okay, I have time for guys. two more questions. So I'm hoping that someone in the audience speaks up. Otherwise, I'll ask a couple questions and we'll wrap up. Akriti, do you have any questions of your own? Anuj, Hema,
Hi, sir.
Vinod?
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, Chandan. I was just listening this. You have written query optimization by 30%, 40% in your resume. What was your answer for an interviewer? What if interviewers how many millions of data you were playing, or what optimization you are did? What was the necessity? It was like that. What was your answer if this
Uh,
was your
my
approach?
my answer was specifically focused on what Vishal sir has taught us, mostly on the side that if there is any subqueries, then we are going to look for it and we are going to utilize the CTEs. And apart from that, we shouldn't directly call select a star. We should specifically mention the columns. So this were the basic answer. Like there were many other answers. So this were the entire flow, I would say.
Yeah, at some point, I believe, what happens is when they just ask you a question to say, does he really know his stuff? Does he really have a good approach?
Yes,
Or he's
performance
just
tuning
cooked up a
question is all
number?
about to check that
So,
your approach, that what do you
yeah.
think about performance tuning. The people when you start saying that I will create an index, you got rejected at the same moment of time. As soon as you say in the interview that you create an index to make your performance faster, guys, you got rejected at the same moment of the time as soon as you say index. So the
Yes.
approach is all about they want to know what you did. 50%, 40%, 30, depend upon the data to data. It's need a story. Interviewer wants to make a story. You don't want the shortcut answer. I create an index. I will don't use select star. I will do select column name and
Yeah.
I will write where clause. I will do this. I will do that. That will not work in the interview for sure. 200% sure.
Yeah, and I believe what might have happened is, when he was answering, sometimes they will pick up something on the resume, and they will start thinking that they're laying a trap for the candidate, or they're going to make him fumble on a particular topic. But in this case, little did they know that the candidate was very well prepared for that question. So the moment he started talking about performance tuning, the way Vishal and the classes tell him, and based upon his own experience and range of expertise that he has, the practice that he has done, when he started answering the question, they would have completely forgotten about. We asked him about percentage of metrics or whatever, because they were convinced at the end of his answer that yes, he knows his subject. He did not blindly speak about indexing the same way everybody does. So that is what would have impressed him. And Vishal rightly points it out, when you start speaking nonstop, if they ask a question with the example, with how you have used it, people are impressed with your knowledge. Okay, Anuj, please go ahead.
Uh,
Hello.
Congratulations. Yeah,
Is it Anuj or
congr-
Hema?
yeah. Okay. So my question is basically about the migration. In current company, we have like migration part from like MySQL to Postgres. But I am a SQL developer. I know about SQL and PL SQL. I don't know about the migration. So where did you learn the migration and how do you do the migration? Something.
कौन
Yeah.
था ये क्वेश्चन किसने पूछा ये माइग्रेशन हु आस्क्ड दिस माइग्रेशन
Anuj sir, Anuj basically.
माइग्रेशन क्या होता है अनुज
So basically migration
हिंदी में
from
बताओ
one
माइग्रेशन क्या होता है
basically
that I love it. So I love it. We have a moment of mentoring here, and I love that Vishal uses English and Hindi both to make people feel comfortable.
yes sir. Sir, in current company हम migrate करते
अरे
हैं
भूल जाओ
database.
करंट कंपनी में डेटाबेस की बात ही
Okay.
नहीं कर रहा तुम मुझे बताओ माइग्रेशन क्या होता है हिंदी में बताओ तुमसे पूछूं माइग्रेशन मतलब क्या होता है अब तुमने सुना होगा
Data mig.
माइग्रेट कर गए फिर डेटा भूल जाओ डेटा
Okay.
तुमने सुना होगा लोग माइग्रेट कर जाते हैं इंडिया से यूएस चले जाते हैं यूएस से इंडिया चले जाते हैं इंडिया से
Yes.
यूरोप चले जाते हैं माइग्रेट करते हैं एक जगह
Yes,
से
sir.
दूसरी जगह जाते हैं, इसको ही
Yes, sir.
माइग्रेशन बोलते हैं ना। वहीं से तो आया वर्ड ये, कि कहीं और से आया
Yes.
है?
No, sir. सही है.
तो डेटा माइग्रेशन का क्या मतलब होता है? डेटा उठा के यहां से लेके वहां चले जाओ,
Yes,
यही तो
sir.
हुआ माइग्रेशन।
बिल्कुल सर.
मतलब एक
In
हमारे
other
पास सोर्स होगा, एक
in
हमारे पास टारगेट होगा।
in other words, one platform to another, right, Vishal? You're
And
meaning that
there are
way?
multiple things of migration. When we talk about migration, we talk about one platform migration and
Hmm.
one version migration. Version migration
Okay.
means, for example, I am working on Oracle 12c and my project migrated to Oracle 19c.
Right.
Platform migration. Sorry,
Yes.
version migration.
Version
Platform,
migration.
I am working on Informix, Sybase, DB2, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, Teradata, MariaDB. I am moving to another database. That is
Another.
platform migration.
Yes.
एंड ऑफ द डे क्या हो रहा है? वी हैव ए सोर्स, वी हैव ए टारगेट, हमको यहां से उठाना है, वहां पे जाना है। थिंक अबाउट इट, यू आर माइग्रेटिंग फ्रॉम गुड़गांव टू बैंगलोर। व्हाट डू यू
Yes,
थिंक
sir.
अबाउट इट? If I go to Bangalore, I need a two-bedroom house because here I am living in two-bedroom. Here you are living in two-bedroom, you need a two-bedroom in Bangalore because you have so
Yes.
much stuff. So if you have a data
Yes.
here, you need the same data here. Do you have a compatibility? Do you have the same data type? I need the same volume. Just go with requirement gathering. Try to map. Maybe for example, suppose in Gurgaon, I can call it, maybe for example, support tempo. I'm just giving an example, rough example. Maybe in
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore you can call it taxi. तो मे बी
Mm-hmm.
डेटा टाइप कंपेटेबिलिटी है कि नहीं, हमें वो चेक करना है। माइग्रेशन कुछ नहीं होता भाई, यहाँ का उठा के वहां डालना, एक फैंसी वर्ड है। इसके लिए
Okay,
कुछ
sir.
टूल्स यूज होते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज आई हैव ह्यूज वॉल्यूम ऑफ द डेटा, आई वांट टू माइग्रेट। Just like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if you want to migrate from Gurgaon to Bangalore, you can use some companies, for example, your movers and packers. They will took all your stuff from here to there. Same like migration क्या करता है? You have SSMS, or for example, you have Informatica, we have data stage, we have talent, we have MicroStrategy, we have ODI, we have एक और कौन सा टूल है यार, क्या बोलते हैं उसको?
Mm-hmm.
SQL
Easy
लोडर।
loader.
SQL लोडर क्या करता है? डेटा को उठा के एक्सट्रैक्ट, ट्रांसफॉर्म, लोड, एक्सट्रैक्ट करता है, चेंज करता है, लोड करता है। थोड़ी सी कहानी है, समझ में आनी चाहिए कहानी बताते समय।
Yes, sir.
माइग्रेशन कोई बहुत बड़ा 30 मार खा चीज नहीं है, डेटा को उठा के यहां से वहां करना है।
Yeah, it sounds like Vishal said, it sounds very fancy, but there are very simple steps and certain nuances to follow when you're migrating from one platform on one version to
Yes.
another.
Yes, so main concept is, Anuj, you have to first understand the requirement. As a database person, it's our responsibility to understand the requirement, convert that requirement into our own data world. That is what the database person are doing. If you
Yes,
start
sir.
going, suppose there is a word called data governance. अब डेटा गवर्नेंस क्या होता है? आधे लोग तो नाम देख करके उनके मर जाएं, पता नहीं क्या है डेटा गवर्नेंस। तो ये सारी चीजें इंप्लीमेंट करने की होती हैं। ऐसे में एक एक वर्ड पढ़ेंगे तो यार तो पढ़ते ही रह जाओगे, फिर तो कभी खत्म ही नहीं होगा सिलेबस।
Yeah, people think that, when they hear words like data quality, data governance, sometimes they think, "Arey, I did not cover it well." But these are simple things if you really go into the root of it. And this is why you should attend seminars. This is why when you are in classes, or when Vishal keeps on telling people, please ask me questions, please ask me questions. I've seen him do this in every single class. But very few people, I mean, like Chandan, and there are many other people, Hema is there, and I may not be knowing everyone, but I know a few people who reach out to him, reach out to me saying, can you explain us about this? So I'm glad that we are having this conversation where people are asking questions, because even when we have seminars, sometimes everybody will keep quiet. They'll just listen to it like a movie and go away. But this is where people like Chandan, people like, gurus like Vishal can help us, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next one is from Hema, and we'll take one more question after that, and we'll wrap up for today. And I have shared with everybody Chandan's LinkedIn ID. So those of you who want to get in touch with him can get in touch with him. But guys, please be gentle, because whenever a person, uh, he may be appearing for certain other things, he may have some personal stuff going on with him. And also when a person, there are a lot of joining formalities, paperwork to be done. So give him time. So give him at least, few days of time to settle down with his paperwork. Give him some time to, when he completes his joining formalities, then Ask him if he's available. Don't just a lot of people just the moment we announce somebody successful, people start uh, calling that person or writing hi bro and hi sis and can you help me today or can you. So please understand that people have their uh, own set of work and challenges in both professional and personal lives. So be courteous, be kind to them. Ask for time, a particular time. If they are available, they'll be happy to share some time with you. Or better still, you just reach out to Vishal in case of Oracle skill. Uh, Vishal will be very happy to help you guys with whatever areas you have questions in. Okay, Hema.
Yes, Arun sir.
I
Congratulations, sir. Firstly, before I ask you something,
Thank
congratulations
you,
on your.
Emma. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
even I'm appearing for data engineering interviews. Like one thing that we face is during this transition, people will ask about the real time experience, something like how much volume you handled or how many pipelines you have built or something like that. What would be the most frequent error that you are facing in your day to day life? How did you handle such a kind of questions? What
For
would be
few,
one piece of advice? Yeah.
yeah, sure. For few of the interviews, I did stuck for like what with the error or scenario based questions. So I try to revisit and redo whatever the with the small set of data, I would say. With that, I try to recreate those particular scenarios, and based on that, I try to understood like how I would be able to resolve those questions. In terms of volumes, we can maybe generalize it, or maybe you try to understand which whatever the project we have mentioned in our uh, resume, we should keep the volume based on that, I would say. If we don't have any real time experience, so that's what I did. But I uh, recreated those scenarios and tried to understand what are the errors and how, if anything, or any interviewer asks me the scenario based question, how I'm going to handle it. So that's a basic thing I did, and it was very important. Otherwise, the interviewer anyway going to know that this particular person didn't work on any of the real time scenario.
Exactly. And Hema, the question that you've asked, there are many students. In fact, there are some who are coming from, uh, you know, uh, uh, places where they have learned from YouTube or where they learned from other, people who are advertised on LinkedIn, and they come in saying that although they understood the concepts, but they have never done they have not worked on real life projects. And while they were able to answer, like for in case of data engineering, they were able to answer questions on Unity catalog and shuffling and all the nuances in there, they were able to answer. But but they were told that they don't have enough real time experience. Such an experience also we are facing, not we, I mean, candidates are facing, where they have been, let's say they were successful in the interview and they're working for, let's say, Capgemini or LTI Mindtree or XYZ company, whether it's a product based company or whether it is a service based company. They've started working and they are, while they are on bench waiting to be assigned to the clients, when they're having client interviews, the client sometimes in some cases, as I said, well, we liked your candidate, but they don't have enough real time experience or exposure. So if you look at, I want to say two things here. One is, if you look at the data engineering course that we have in COE, where we are doing Ashok's data, the data bricks part of it and the ADF part of it, there are about 10 projects. Anybody that has done two or three projects out of those 10, and they're not too difficult projects, but they're realistic projects, and the people who've been successful in US in many cases, and we have had many successes in India. People have been able to very quickly talk about the real work they did in the project, and they said, uh, if you don't mind, we'd love to explain it through a diagram. And those real-time projects, if you look at a guy like Pushpak Wootla, I can, Hima, if you talk to me, if you contact me offline, I'll send you, two or three successful people. You talk to them and see how they answered those kind of questions, and I'll be happy to assist you myself with various things. But it's a
Sure.
great idea. In short, it's a great idea to have worked on two projects that are more real life, like industry grade types. So that way you'll be able to answer those questions very well, because even if you have not worked on a like very high volumes, it is pretty easy to understand if you explain your approach like that. You're very clear end to end between ingestion and orchestration. You're able to understand all these steps, all the nuances. If you're able to answer that, they at least have the confidence that yes, this person can handle it, and can even if the scale is higher, the person will be able to handle it. It's the confidence with which you talk, with which you explain. And I'll be happy to take on the session, explain to you, make you meet people who've been successful, how they answered those kind of questions. Because you pointed a very good question. This has been asked in pretty much every interviews. People have gone till the final rounds, and sometimes they had to come back because they did everything right except that the client wanted more real life. They had more real life expectations out of them, not bookish knowledge of how do you copy from X to Y.
Got it,
Okay.
sir. Thank you. I'll reach you offline.
Sure, sure. Is there anybody else? I'm going to ask one time. Is there anybody else that is sitting with one question that I have not asked? I'm going to spend the last minute asking you one more time. Bhavin, Chandrasekhar, Vinod, Vivek, they're just happy that Chandan has got selected and they're waiting their own turns. Um, Chandan, thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing basic feedback. I'm sure, a lot of people, since they are in various different classes, many people have not been able to join. I thank everybody who's been able to join here to congratulate you. We did it on a short notice, but thank you so much, Chandan, for doing this for us. It'll be very helpful for uh, many students who are on the verge of creating their own success stories pretty soon.
Thank you, Arun sir. Thank you, Akriti, for hosting me. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Akriti. Thanks everyone for attending. We'll do more of these sessions, guys, on data engineering, on Oracle, on variety of things. So please watch out when these sessions are announced. Typically, they are done pro bono on Friday, Saturday, Sundays, as and when we have them. We have many successes, but we wait for the right time because we don't want people to flood these candidates and start. Because these candidates are many of our candidates are taking multiple interviews and are getting multiple offers. So you want to make sure they have enough time, uh, and whenever they can spare a little bit time, we'll try to hold such sessions, more of such sessions, and I hope to see many of you join us and learn from it. And I'll follow up with Vishal. He had very good example of migration in a very simple and fun way, and I would encourage him to uh, deliver another specialization for us on migration issues. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, Vishal, for being such a wonderful participant today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.